Okay, so today we're going to take a deep dive. You ready for this?
I'm ready to lay it on me.
AI-powered micro-targeting in the world of politics. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those things, right? It sounds super complex,
Uh-huh.
but it's actually impacting all of us, like, right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everyone's talking about AI these days.
Right.
But how is it actually being used, in something like a political campaign?
And it all comes down to data. I mean,
Yeah.
they're using our data, everything from what we like online to,
Yeah, all that stuff we do on social media.
oh,
Right.
yeah, and way beyond that, too.
Yeah.
Campaigns are getting really good at using it to figure out
Like what makes us tick.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they can tailor their messages just for us. I mean,
It's pretty amazing when you think about it, this cutting edge tech using all this data to try and,
to win votes.
yeah, exactly, to win our votes. But it makes you wonder, right? Is
Is it
this,
good for democracy or is it kind of creepy?
yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Mm.
On the one hand, it could mean that campaigns are actually talking to us about the things we care about.
Right, not just sending out these generic messages.
Right, exactly. But on the other hand, are we being manipulated? Are we being, kind of steered in a certain direction without even realizing it?
Yeah, those are some big questions.
Yeah.
So how about we start by breaking down how this whole micro-targeting thing actually works?
Like, what's going on behind the scenes?
Yes, exactly. So how do they build these like super detailed profiles of voters?
Well, it all starts with data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are tons of ways campaigns can get their hands on it. I mean, obviously, there's all the stuff we do online, our browsing history, the things we like and share.
Social media posts, all that.
Exactly. But then there's also things like consumer data, what we buy, where we shop.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and even our voting records, public records, all this stuff is out there and campaigns can access it.
So they take all this data and then what?
They feed it into these super powerful AI systems. And the AI analyzes it, looks for patterns and connections, and then it builds a profile of each voter. I mean, it can predict things like what issues we care about, what kind of messages might resonate with us.
So it's like they're creating a little mini-me in their computer.
That's a good way to put it.
And then they use that to target us with ads and messages.
Exactly. And it's not just about sending us the same message as everyone else. It's about tailoring the message to make it as persuasive as possible.
So like different versions of the same ad?
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's say there's an election coming up and there's a big debate about healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a campaign might create two different versions of an ad about healthcare. One that focuses on affordability and one that focuses on quality of care.
Okay.
And then based on your profile, they'll show you the version that they think will be most effective.
Wow. So it's like they're running little experiments on us all the time.
In a way, yeah. It's called A/B testing, and it's all about figuring out what works best for each individual.
That's incredible. And, it makes me think back to Obama's campaigns.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone talks about how they were really good at using data and micro-targeting.
Oh, yeah, they were pioneers in this field.
Was it really that effective, though? Like, did it actually help him win?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but a lot of experts believe that micro-targeting played a significant role in his victories, both in 2008 and 2012.
Hmm.
They were able to identify specific groups of voters who are likely to support him, and then they targeted them with very personalized messages. For example, they were really good at reaching out to young voters and first-time voters.
And they knew what issues those voters cared about, right?
Exactly. And they crafted messages that spoke directly to those concerns.
Okay, so it sounds like this micro-targeting thing can be really powerful.
Oh, it is incredibly powerful.
But that's kind of what worries me, right? Like, if it's that easy to sway voters...
What's to stop it from being used for bad?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are there any, like, red flags that we should be looking out for?
Well, one thing to be aware of is the use of lookalike audiences.
Lookalike audiences. What's that?
So let's say a campaign knows that a certain group of people are very likely to vote for their candidate.
Okay.
They can then use AI to find other people who share similar characteristics with that group.
So, like, if I like hiking and kayaking and drinking craft beer, and they know that people who like those things tend to vote a certain way.
They'll target you with ads,
Got it.
even if you've never expressed any interest in politics before.
So it's like they're making assumptions about us based on our data.
Exactly. And that can be problematic because those assumptions might not be accurate. Plus, it can lead to people being put into these boxes,
Yeah.
where they're only exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs.
Right. And that doesn't sound very healthy for democracy.
Not at all.
And then there's the whole issue of disinformation.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge concern.
It feels like micro-targeting could make it really easy to spread lies and propaganda.
Absolutely. Because with micro-targeting, you can target people who are already predisposed to believe certain things.
So like if someone is already prone to believing conspiracy theories.
You can feed them more conspiracy theories.
Wow. So how do we protect ourselves from that? I mean, as AI gets even more advanced, is there any way to prevent this kind of manipulation?
Well, one important step is transparency. Social media platforms need to be more open about how they're using our data.
Right, like how are they collecting it? Who are they selling it to all day?
Exactly. And they need to give us more control over our own information. Like, we should be able to opt out of targeted advertising if we want to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But honestly, a lot of the responsibility also falls on us as individuals.
What do you mean?
Well, we need to be more aware of how micro-targeting works, and we need to be more critical of the information we see online.
So it's not just about blaming the tech companies.
Right. It's about being informed and taking steps to protect ourselves.
So like what can we do? Give us some tips.
Well, for starters, be skeptical of anything that seems too good to be true, or anything that makes you really angry or upset. Those are often signs that you're being manipulated. And do your own research. Don't just believe everything you see on social media.
That's good advice.
And if you see something that you think is fake or misleading, report it.
Okay, so be skeptical, do our own research, and report anything suspicious. I
Exactly.
think this has been a really eye-opening conversation. It's made me realize just how powerful this technology is.
It is powerful, and it's only going to get more powerful as AI continues to evolve.
So what does the future hold? I mean, are we all just going to be living in our own little filter bubbles where we only see what we want to see?
Well, that's a real risk. But I think there's also hope. I mean, the more we talk about these issues, the more aware we become and the more we can push for change.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all. I think this is a really important conversation to be having, and I'm glad we're having it.
Me too. And hopefully our listeners are now a little bit more informed and a little more empowered to navigate this crazy world of AI and micro-targeting.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, right?
Right. All right. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. Because the future of democracy might just depend on it.
Well said.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it for today. We'll see you next time.
See you then.